Today I'll be sharing the pecan pie cookies recipe. I looked for this recipe as an alternative to a pecan pie. I found this recipe on the Land O'Lakes website. I kind of modified it to fit my baking style, but you can find many variations on the internet. I've included a list of materials that I use to make my pecan pie cookies. I've also included a list of ingredients. They include light brown sugar, butter, egg, vanilla, all-purpose flour, baking powder, chopped pecans, and heavy whipping cream. I tend to use bluebonnet butter, and occasionally I'll use imitation vanilla. This recipe might take a couple of times to perfect, so just be patient with yourself. Before the prep work, just preheat your oven to 350 degrees. I like to start with my prep work. While my butter is softening, I can do this prep work to get everything ready to assemble the cookies. I first chopped up my pecans in my mini food chopper. You can buy already chopped up pecans, but I happen to have pecan halves on hand, so that's what I used today. I placed my pecans in a small size bowl. I then added half a cup of light brown sugar. The next ingredient is to add a fourth cup of heavy whipping cream. This can be found in the refrigerated section by the milk. And the last ingredient is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Again, you can use imitation vanilla. I've done it in the past. I mix this together with my fork. I found that the fork is the easiest utensil to get the pecans nice and covered evenly. Once the pecans are evenly coated, you can set that aside and begin your next step. The next step of the prep work is to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder to 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Keep in mind that this does call for baking powder, not baking soda. Baking soda and baking powder are very different, and this one involves baking powder. Now it's time to make the cookie dough. In my large mixing bowl, I add 1 cup of light brown sugar to my 3/4 cup of softened butter. I then add 1 large egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I like to use my hand mixer. I do have a KitchenAid mixer, but I like my hand mixer because it's just easier to maneuver. So you want to mix that on medium until it's nice and creamy. After you're done with mixing that, you're going to add the flour and baking soda mixture to your butter mixture. I like to use a spoon or a hand mixer on very low. This allows you to create a soft dough, but it's firmer and it's easier to manipulate. And now it's time to assemble the cookies. You want to roll the dough into 1-inch balls and place them on a baking sheet. I place about 12 on each baking sheet. I use a half a teaspoon to make an indention in each of the cookie balls. I found the back side of half a teaspoon works best for me. You can use your thumb or your index finger. I then use my fork to fill the indentions. It's about a teaspoon of pecan mixture. If you overfill the mixture, just make more filling. It's easy enough to whip up. You want to place these in the oven and bake them at 350 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes until they're a light golden brown, not a dark brown like a chocolate chip cookie would be. I cool them on a wire rack and then they're ready to serve. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. The recipe will be included in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed it.